Welcome to my tutorial for Kung Fu Master for the arcade. This one was quite a bit harder than the NES one that I just did a tutorial on. Much harder. It took me around 2 hours and 34 minutes to beat, whereas the NES one took me about 6 minutes of practice to beat. I beat it in 18 minutes because of the actual run itself. But, of course, I had beaten the NES one several times in the past, so I still kind of remembered some of the tactics. But this one was way harder. So, first thing you're going to notice is that the hit detection is worse and that the control is more sluggish. And that's what made the game a lot harder for me. But aside from that, you have a lot more enemies, and it's just a lot more aggressive, as you'd expect from arcade games back in the day. They were just out to get your money. And the only way to beat this game is to do a 1 credit clear, meaning, you have to beat it on 1 coin. There are no continues. I set it to 5 lives to give myself a better chance. But what you're going to see in this, sometimes it glitches a little bit from when I combine the videos. I don't know why, but what you're going to notice though is that the first 3 levels are going to be no damage, and that's just to show that you can beat, because the tutorial is really a demonstration to show what can be done, and that was all legit gameplay. But that was from my failed attempt. The first 3 levels are from an attempt that I failed. I got to like the 5th level and then died and had to restart the game. But the first 3 levels, I ended up doing no damage on that attempt. So what I did was, I combined 2 videos. I combined the first 3 levels, which were no damage, and then I combined levels 4 and 5 from a second playthrough, the successful playthrough. Because the successful playthrough wasn't as flashy, and I'm going to show that one as well. That's going to be a separate video. For the tutorial, I just wanted to demonstrate the game, and I figured I would try to show some of my best gameplay for that. So the editing is going to be different on some of these tutorials, but I'll explain everything in descriptions and in the video itself. So the tactic for the first boss was to immediately jump kick him in the head and then just keep sweep kicking him, and he'll get damaged majorly by that. And then when he gets out of your sweep kick range, because it pushes him back, retreat immediately, start walking back, then start walking forward again, come in with another jump kick and start sweep kicking again. That's what you're going to do for the first boss. Keep in mind that you can only do a jump kick when you've been walking for a certain amount of time. It's very strange because you're always walking at the same speed, so it's not like you need time to get a running start. But in this game, it makes you walk a certain distance before you're allowed to jump horizontally, jump across, which means you can't do like a jump kick where you get some distance unless you're walking for a while. You can jump straight up and do a jump kick, but that's not what you really want to do on bosses. There's 2 bosses where you want to start off with a jump kick. And the second boss is not really one of them. The second boss is the boomerang guy, and with him, you just want to, avoid his boomerangs. Duck when they go above you and jump when they're under you. And just try to get those hits and move forward and try to just get to him fast and take him out. For this guy, start with a jump kick and then immediately start sweep kicking, then retreat and come back in with a jump kick again. You want to retreat. If you stay there and keep sweep kicking, he'll just kick you and kill you. So that's the best way to play him. And that works for the first boss as well. The second boss is a little bit different. And the second boss is one of the harder levels. It's tricky with all the shit falling down. I recommend taking your time on the second level and, retreating as needed. Don't always advance forward. You'll see I played very carefully if you watch the video again. And I don't just try to run through. Sometimes you want to retreat. With these moths, it's also random, just like all the elements in this game are pretty much random. As far as the enemies, the way they move and come out, it seems a lot of it is random. So the moths kind of vary. You just have to get into a rhythm. Sometimes you want to duck punch them. Other times you have to, even sometimes trip kick them if they're really low. But you just got to get in a rhythm with that. This guy's extremely difficult. It's the hardest part, but there is a trick to it. You want to wait till he does one of his magics, and then get in and duck punch him a few times, then retreat back. But see, I got him in the corner, so I didn't have to do that strategy. But I'll try to explain that after the end of the video, because I don't really have enough time now, I don't think, to explain it. Or maybe I will. What I usually do on him, if you can corner him, you can just duck punch and kill him very easily, like you saw me do. But if you're not able to corner him like that, which most of the time I don't get that, what you want to do is let him do one of his magics, just at a range where it can't hit you, and then move in forward and duck punch him like 2 or 3 times in the head. He'll disappear again and stun you. But, hold back on the controller so you're walking backwards immediately after the stun wears off. Then duck immediately. and be just out of range of his next attack, basically. And then after he finishes his next attack, walk in again, duck, and punch his head again. And repeat that process, you know what I mean? Just keep retreating back and doing it like that. That's the best way that I've found to do it. It's a little hard to explain. This is the hardest level because I think it is because it's hard just getting to the boss. Because those fucking midgets keep flipping on you, and I don't know how to avoid them from flipping on you and damaging you. For me, it's somewhat luck. If I get a lot of flipping midgets, I'm pretty much dead. So, it does suck. There's probably a way to avoid that. Maybe by standing. I'm not sure. I couldn't figure out how to get the midgets to stop jumping off my head. It may be that they need to get a running start, and, if you get them early, maybe they won't, but I don't know. They seem very hard to avoid. So for this guy, I was doing it wrong. I forgot what I had practiced yesterday. You saw immediately I was trying to jump kick to get in close to him and then sweep kick him. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is run up to him real close, duck immediately, and start doing a few trip kicks. And if it connects, walk back immediately. If it doesn't connect, walk back immediately. And just keep walking back and doing that again and again. And you just got to be real fast about getting in there real fast, doing a few sweep kicks, and retreating immediately. If you stay there too long, he will hit you and do massive damage. So you just got to keep repeating that. Sometimes you want to mix in duck punches, either duck kicks or duck punches, because sometimes he won't get hit by one or the other. So sometimes you got to mix it up. He's a very cheap last boss, but as long as you get in as close as you can, duck immediately, and either punch or trip kick him, you'll see if he blocks it or if it lands. But either way, whether it lands or not, retreat, get the fuck out of there, and then come back in immediately and do that again, and just retreat again and just keep doing that. And if you do that, you'll beat it. But use save and load states to practice sections, like I said with these games. You want to practice stuff with save and load states so that you can learn everything, especially the Magician and the final boss. Those guys are the hardest. If you have any other questions, let me know. And I'm also going to post up a playthrough that's unedited. With this one, I edited out the deaths and I combined segments from my best playthrough. So it's kind of a best of. And the reason is because it's a tutorial, so it's meant to demonstrate. So I figured it would be better to do that for this. But I will post up the unedited successful playthrough. I also have my failed attempts, which includes part of this playthrough that was edited in. So thanks for watching.